It's a race to the finish for Tony La Russa and the St. Louis Cardinals. They find themselves just 4.5 games out in the Central Division of the National League. 66 games left on the schedule to see if they are truly good enough for postseason play. The first half was filled with thrills, walk-off home runs, great defensive catches, and throws from Rick Ankiel, and a starting staff that statistically is one of the best in baseball. But the question remains, is it good enough to get into the postseason? The Cardinals are expecting a boost in the second half when two of their best return to the rotation. Right-handers Adam Wainwright and former Cy Young Award winner Chris Carpenter. Speaking of aces, there'll be two on display tonight here in Game 1. Hard-throwing right-hander Jake Peavy of the San Diego Padres and the Cardinals' 11-game winner Kyle Loge. The All-Stars have returned, and the second half gets underway tonight. Albert, Ludwig, Gloss, Schumacher, they're all here, and Game 1 is next on FSN Midwest. Night in St. Louis, and a big crowd expected tonight here at Busch Stadium as we get you set for Cardinals baseball. Game 1 of a 4-game series, Game 1 of an 8-game homestand. The Padres and the Cardinals on FSN Midwest. What a first half for the St. Louis Cardinals at 53-43. They have 66 games remaining in this regular season. If they're going to get into postseason play, that home record needs to be a little bit better at 26-21. That's Al Roboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to the broadcast booth. Delighted to have you with us for Game 1 tonight. And I think, Al, if you look at this team in the second half, certainly you can say, yeah, they're going to be contenders, but they need to play better at home.
I think that's it. They really have struggled the last couple homestands, and they have to pick that pace up. What they're doing on the road is fine, but they have to win here at home.
Pair of right-handers tonight, and it's a former Cy Young Award winner, Jake Peavy, getting the start for San Diego.
He's one of the best in the league. He's pitching very effectively once again. The Cardinals are going to have their hands full against one of the best, but we have our best. Kyle Loach, 11-game winner, just pitching tremendous baseball, has an 8-game winning streak, so it should be a great pitching matchup.
11-game winner. He picked up that 11th win against Pittsburgh last time out. He was terrific. 20 starts for Loge, 11-2 for Jake Peavy. 15 starts this season, and he is 7-5, and that's a look at your four-key matchup. Kyle Loge, second half. What do you think we can anticipate from him?
Well, I just don't want him to do anything different than what he's been doing. He's gained an awful lot of confidence. He has a good plan of attack. He's executing Dave Duncan's game plan, and he's a winner. All
right, we're set to go just about for baseball tonight. Game 1 between San Diego and St. Louis. Grading the cards. Our first half report is coming up next here on FSN Midwest. We are back on FSN Midwest at Busch Stadium. Cardinals baseball just around the corner. First half in the books. Let's grade the Cardinals, Mr. Roboski, and we'll start with the starters.
Well, the starters have done an outstanding job. Probably the biggest surprise in the first half. They have the best winning percentage in the National League, so I'm going to give them a B+. And the only reason I detract from them is the fact that they only average 5 2/3, putting too much burden on the bullpen.
Only a B+ for the starters. How about the bullpen?
The bullpen, I'm going to put a C. There have been a lot of good things and a lot of poor things. They lead the National League in holds, but they also are second in losses and blown saves. But there's a lot of good things that are happening, and we hope it'll be more in the second half. The offense, I'm going to give a B. They're very dependent on the home run ball. That's a little bit concerning, but they are starting to generate more offense. They're clicking together, and hopefully there's an added bat to come.
How about the defense for the Cardinals?
The defense has really been a real plus. That is definitely an A. They have the best defense in the National League, the fewest amount of errors, and that has really helped the pitching staff.
Tony always seems to get the most from his bench.
Well, he uses everyone, and that's always a plus. So you really have to put a B up there and maybe even a B+, because he maximizes his depth on his bench. Everyone contributes, and if you're on this ball club, you're going to get a chance to play.
That's a look at the Cardinal report card. Coming up, more from Busch Stadium here on FSN Midwest. Game 1 between St. Louis and San Diego. A look around the major leagues coming up next. 53 wins on the season, trailing only the Chicago Cubs in the National League. For the St. Louis Cardinals, it's baseball tonight. Game 1 between the Cardinals and the San Diego Padres. Earlier this year, the Cardinals took 2 of 3 against San Diego on the West Coast as their offense came alive. Will that be the case in the first of 4 starting tonight here on FSN Midwest? Big crowd tonight here at Busch Stadium. Baseball lineups, first pitch coming up next. On your pocket schedule, it is listed as a 7:15 first pitch. Our first pitch tonight at 7:13, a couple of minutes early, and already 1 out recorded as Jody Garrett flies out to center field, and Rick Ankiel, there's 1 away, and we're underway in game 1 of the second half of the season. A strike to Edgar Gonzalez, who's hitting .296, and this is a look at the first out off the bat of Jody Garrett.
Nice little fly ball that Rick camps underneath.
Nice to be back, and it's nice to say the Cardinals, with 66 games remaining, are in contention.
Absolutely. Second best record in the National League. Lead the wild card by a half game. But they have to play much better here at home because, you know, the Cubs have picked up ground and so has Milwaukee. So the Cardinals need to keep pace.
The 2-1 pitch is hit out of play, and that was a look at the Rico starter for the Cardinals, Kyle Loge. And Al Raboski gave the starting staff only a B+. I'm very upset with that first half grade.
Well,
very upset.
You know what? They had the best winning percentage, but they're only averaging 5 2/3 innings. That puts a big burden on the bullpen. So if they want an A or A-, they've got to get, you know, over that 6 innings, 6+.
So you're saying you want to see deeper into games?
Yes, I do. So does Tony and Dave Duncan.
Right down the middle, a shot out to left and a base hit. Over to get it, Duncan, and Gonzalez is aboard with a 1-out base hit. And let's meet the San Diego starting lineup. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. We'll highlight Brian Giles. A lot of that work, 102 games against the Cardinals, done in a Pittsburgh uniform. Very good numbers, 25 home runs, 76 driven in. He has been a positive. He'll dig in here with 1 out in the first, top half for San Diego. A positive in what otherwise has been a very, and I mean a very, disappointing year for the San Diego Padres. The National League West was supposed to be one of the better divisions in baseball, and it looked to be that way when you saw Arizona get off to their great start. You figured the Dodgers would be there. At the start of play tonight, here we are in the middle of July, every team, that includes the first place team, Arizona, is under the 500 mark.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks 1 game under 500, and she said, but remember the Cardinals and Albert Pujols in particular kind of wiped out Bud Black's team. So took out Chris Young, still on the disabled list, and also Josh Bard, their starting catcher, is on rehab now. But those guys, remember in the same inning, Albert injured both of them. Line drive off the face of Young, and then the slide where the ankle injury to the catcher.
Been a tough season for the Padres. Jim Edmonds was released early on, now with Chicago. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Popped up down the right field line. There is a play, foul territory, the shades on, and Schumacher makes the catch. And that's out number 2. Schumacher is in right tonight. Let's take a look at around the horn defensively. The St. Louis Cardinals here in game 1. Schumacher in right, Ankiel in center, Duncan out left. Gloss is at third is Turris. The shortstop, Aaron Miles, at second base. Pujols over at first. Yadier Molina behind the plate. 3 career starts for Loge against San Diego, and he's 0-2 with an ERA over 7.
But this Kyle Loge is got an 8-game winning streak. He's been very efficient during that time. Great ERA of 2.18 during his current win streak. A lot of ground balls when he pitches, and he keeps the ball in the ballpark.
So 2 outs, runner at first, and a dangerous hitter. Adrian Gonzalez in a big ballpark, Petco Park, with 22 home runs on the year, and he's driven in 71. He's an all-star this season for the Padres.
Selected by the players, and rightfully so.
You mentioned the name of Josh Bard. He has played in 3 games at single A. Back in safely is Gonzalez. Bard has caught a couple of games for the Storm, including a start by Chris Young. They hope to see him in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, just Padres are starting an 11-game road trip. Start the second half. Kind of a misnomer when you say the second half. They're playing in their 96 ball game, and Cardinals playing in 97.
Yeah. To me, the All-Star game should truly be at the halfway point of the season. And in this case, it's not. It's been pushed back deeper and deeper as the years go by.
And next year, it's July 14th.
And right here in St. Louis, the Cardinals and the city of St. Louis are on the clock. 3-1 the count.
Dan, have you ever gone to an All-Star game?
I have. I'm looking forward to the one here in St. Louis next year.
And I mean, I guess I'm not sure if it was 15, 20 years ago when they started the Fan Fest, but it's a week-long event. And I mean, there's so much more than just the home run hitting contest, the Futures game, and the All-Star game itself. It's a party.
And it means a lot of money for the city of St. Louis. Economic impact is projected to be roughly around $60 million. So it's a good thing for the city, a chance to showcase the town. And let's hope that at least a portion of Ballpark Village will be up and running. And who knows exactly what they were going to do, but they do anticipate having some of that ready to roll. We shall see. 2 runners on and 2 outs. Here in the top of the first, no score. And a foul tip off the bat of Kevin Kuzminoff. Third baseman with 12 home runs, 39 RBIs, and hitting .274.
He's starting to come alive.
I asked Mike Shannon about Cal Loge in the pregame show, and he said the thing about Loge, nothing is over the middle of the plate. And basically that has been the case since day one when he arrived with the Cardinals in spring training midway through March. And there's a good example of it right there. Just misses off the outside portion of the plate.
Yeah, it's very good stuff, but he's been able to really execute Dave Duncan's game plan. The preparation is so much greater for himself, and you see that 11-2 this season. Best record the first 20 starts.
Good pitch. Check swing, did not go. Home plate umpire is Jerry Davis. He's been around a long time. Brian Gorman at first, Bruce Dreckman at second base, and Brian Knight over at third. 2 balls, 1 strike on Kuzminoff.
Jerry Davis originally a St. Louisan, and I think now he lives in Wisconsin.
Correct. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Rolling foul, 2-2. I think you look at the records and you say Loge 11-2. That's surprising. And also surprising, Jake Peavy 7-5, but his ERA is under 3. Last year's Cy Young Award winner.
And no run support for Jake, and he did spend a little stint on the disabled list with an elbow issue, but pitching very effectively. He didn't allow a run in his last 2 starts.
Is it safe to say they gave up on Edmonds a little bit too soon?
You know, you just don't know. And, you know, maybe it was a wake-up call for Jimmy to go elsewhere. But
wake-up call, maybe a jolt for him.
Sure,
back in a pennant race.
Back in a pennant race, do this and that. But I think Jimmy is a lot happier playing for the Cubs than he was with the Padres.
2-2 pitch. We saw Jimmy over at your house on a Sunday afternoon when Chicago was here, and we heard his plans to be married.
Yeah, he got married yesterday.
So congratulations.
Yeah, he and Allison finally tied the knot and went down to the City Hall. And
he got dressed up for it, too,
yeah,
didn't he?
well, I think it was shorts and flip-flops, you know, but...
Were you invited to this prestigious ceremony?
I was still out of town.
The 2-2 pitch.
I was aware of it.
Left side and a base hit. A run will score. It's a 2-out hit here in the first, and it's 1-0 San Diego. Just under the glove of Gloss, and then Izturis, not to say that he gave up on the play, but he couldn't come up with it. And it's a 1-0 lead for the Padres.
It's one of those well-placed balls. Got up a little bit more of the plate than he wanted, just beyond Troy Glass, beyond the reach of Izturis, and kind of snuck on through. 40th RBI for Kuzminoff.
And with 2 runners on, here is Chase Headley, left fielder, hitting .280. And who are some of these guys with the Padres?
I think we're seeing the Portland Beavers.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He was recalled from Portland on June 17th. Hit over 300 there, 13 home runs, 40 RBIs, 65 games.
Sets up inside. Here's the 0-1. Up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. All-Star game is in the books. The final one at Yankee Stadium. And boy, there were some chilling moments there. Goosebump type moments. Seeing George Steinbrenner and all those great players of the past make their way to Yankee Stadium. Ryan Ludwig was there. He talked about it with Jim Hayes on the pregame show. The fact that he had chills in the introductions. He said that was his favorite part. But Ryan also came up with a great defensive play, one of the great catches in that game. Here's a 2-1 pitch from Kyle Loge. 2-2. Loge here in the first has been falling behind on some of these hitters.
Sometimes, you have that 3 days off and you're really trying to get away from your routine and you get out of sync a little bit. I'm sure once he gets out of this first inning, he'll kind of regroup. But he has thrown a lot of pitches and, as you said, been behind in the count.
2-2 popped up. Gloss will run and give it a look. Out of play, into the seats.
This next pitch will be his 30th of the inning.
Well, it is now finally summer here in St. Louis. It is hot. We're paying for that mild June. Chili's pitch count 29. 16 strikes, 13 balls. The 2-2 pitch. Pujols has got the liner. Cardinals coming up in their half of the first. San Diego gets an RBI base hit from Kuzmanov. 1-0 after a half inning. Baseball tonight is brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the superior drinkability of Bud Light with a splash of 100% natural lime flavor. By Auto Tire, for the lowest prices in town with 26 locations to serve you. You ought to go to Auto Tire, the tire pros. By Steak and Shake. By Geico Direct, a 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Southwest Airlines. Here's Skip Schumacher to lead it off against Jake Peavy, the National League's reigning Cy Young Award winner. 1-0 on 2 hits in the top of the first by the Padres. Schumacher has been outstanding against right-handed pitching this year, making the start in right field tonight. How about Ryan Ludwig? He makes the All-Star game, and first game back, he can't crack the lineup.
Well, part of that is the fact that Peavy has just dominated against right-handed batters this year. They're only batting 176 against him. And he's been a little more human on the road, but his home ERA is 1.45. He's 2-0 in his last 2 starts. He's not allowed to run in those games. And he has won 3 straight games against the Cardinals, and the Padres have won 4 straight.
Ryan Ludwig was awfully appreciative of what Albert Pujols did for he and his family, flying them from Pittsburgh in a private plane to New York. And he said he really took him under his wing and helped him along through the process of the All-Star game and all the different activities around it. 0-2 is the count on Schumacher, hitting .293. 0-2 is in the dirt. Peavy is just a horse. I mean, this guy is so good. 6'1", 200 pounds, and certainly one of the best strikeout pitchers in baseball.
Well, last year he was the Triple Crown winner, winning the Cy Young in unanimous fashion.
It's tap foul, and it's 1-2 on Skip.
You just love to watch him pitch. You know, he just attacks hitters, very aggressive. It's fun to watch, and as you said, strikeouts can pile up. He's just got very little run support. That's why he's only won 7 games.
Schumacher, a swing and a miss. He strikes out. That pitch at 93 in our gun. And that's the first out recorded by Jake Peavy. Let's take a look at Tony La Russa's lineup. How about Miles? 40 games against the Padres. .329 hitter, 10 RBIs. Of course, he was with Colorado and saw them in the West. It'll be Pujols batting third, then Ankiel, Gloss, Duncan, Molina, Loge, and Turris And Aaron Miles coming off a 5 RBI day against the Pirates on Sunday. And that wasn't even his career high. His career high is 6 he had in one game.
3-run home run, a 2-run triple, and a single in his final at bat to raise that batting average to 317.
He can hit. Miles, a couple of home runs, and he lines it into right field, but it is not a catch. Dropped in right field by Giles. The play that probably should have been made.
Yeah, I think if you talk to Brian Giles, he will tell you that he should have made that play. And looked like he got plenty of glove on it.
7 starts against the Cardinals, 3 wins for Peavy and an ERA under 3. Headley, Garrett, and Giles in the outfield. Kuzmanoff, Green, Gonzalez, and Gonzalez on the right side. And behind the plate, they have a brand new catcher back there. And there's a look in the slow-mo cam of the miss by Giles. It's Luke Carlin, the catcher.
Well, not only we talked about Josh Bard, but also Michael Barrett fouled the ball off his face and had facial surgery.
Short lead at first by Miles. Here comes a 1-0 pitch to Albert. Broken bat. Pops it up and right on the chalk. Catch made by Gonzalez. You don't see guys get inside and able to break Albert's bat like Peavy just did right there. And that is a maple bat that Pujols uses. I was talking with Rip Rowan before the game. Baseball is looking into ash bats and maple bats and all the broken bats this year. Rip Rowan is a longtime equipment man with the St. Louis Cardinals. And his estimate was around 60-65% of the Cardinal players are using the maple bats.
Is Major League Baseball confiscating those broken ones and
many of
using
them
it part of the study?
Right. I actually talked to a bat maker in Pennsylvania today, and primarily his business is done with maple bats. And he said finally he got a questionnaire that made sense of the questions that they were asking these bat makers about what's wrong with the bats. Throw behind and Miles is in there. It's almost a follow-up from when they initially started the study, and then more bats were starting to break.
What was the question that made sense?
Well, the weight, how big the barrel is as opposed to how skinny the handle is. In Major League Baseball, you can have a difference of 3.5 from your ounces to how long the bat is.
And going back to when I first came into the league, you know, you were taught to, you know, basically have the same, you know, maybe within a half inch or an ounce to inch difference. If you used a 34 ounce, 35, 34, something of that nature. But now they're, you know, 35, 31, 30 ounces.
And a swing and a miss by Ankiel. May have gotten a piece. It's 2-2. They would like to get it back to 2 is what they're talking about. Like you're saying, 35 inches, then you'd have 33 ounces. But what happens is the players get the bats and then they start shaving down the handles. And that's when you get technically what would be an illegal bat. That's it out of play.
That's interesting, Dan, because I remember Ted Simmons, you know, guys used to groove their bats. And sometimes they even would burn rosin, put rosin and burn it into hard the surface. But Teddy just grooved his handle, and he hit a home run in San Diego. And after he crossed home plate, catcher picked up the bat, showed the umpire, and they ruled him out because he defaced the bat.
Sure. It's a swing and a miss by Ankiel. 2 in the inning, 2 strikeouts for Jake Peavy. We have played an inning. It's in the books. Peavy, Loge tonight, the Cardinals Padres. Game 1 here on FSN. 2 hits by San Diego in the first, and they have a 1-run lead. 1-0 here on FSN Midwest. And tonight's ball game is presented in FSN HD high definition. Khalil Green, their shortstop, 7, 8, and 9 for the Padres. Hit to short. Isturis up with it. 1 pitch, 1 out. Wound up being a long top of the first for Kyle Loge through 30 pitches in that first inning.
I really do believe that he'll settle down now and kind of get back to contact and throw in better strikes.
Tony La Russa talking before the game on the field with the reporters about how their season is ahead of them. Everything's in front of us of what we can do. We control it. Held a closed door meeting with his players. Said he patted them on the backs for what they've done so far, but it's time to push now in the final couple of months of this regular season. The 0-1 pitch. Duncan will give it a look. That's out of play. Strike two. 0-2 on Luke Carlin, their catcher, hitting 147.
You know, Dan, I kind of get the impression the way this club has persevered and how close they are, that, you know, without making a really significant contribution, maybe you can get a left-handed reliever or something like that, but I think they'd rather stand pat than just to make a deal for the sake of making a deal.
Ground ball. Pujols is there. Steps on the bag for out number 2. Be the coolest kid at the lunch table. 10 lunchbox. Featuring Cardinals center fielder Ricky Ankiel. July 20th. The Cardinals and the Padres. That'll be this Sunday for fans ages 15 and under. Compliments of Coca-Cola. 345-9000 or visit us online at stlcardinals.com. Wasn't considered a significant deal, but Ronnie Belliard back in 2006, and he comes up with a play of the postseason against the Padres. Kind of set the tone for the rest of the way. And that pitch is taken up and away by Jake Peavy. The 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Could be a quick inning here for Kyle Loge. As you mentioned, Peavy spent time on the DL. We had a shot of him doing a game last year where he was sitting in between David Wells and Greg Maddux, and he talks in glowing terms about those two and what they have meant for him in his career. 3-1.
Just picking the brain of a couple guys, old warriors that have been around a long time, know a lot of tricks. You know, he still has tremendous stuff, but if you can learn a trick here and there to go with your great stuff, then you really got something.
Maddux will go tomorrow. He's 3-8. You would figure there would have to be a team that would say, I don't care about that record. It's Greg Maddux. Right. We'd love to have him.
And this club, the Padres, don't score a lot of runs, so.
Went to 3-2 on Peavy, and it's a base hit. Back to the top of the lineup, and it's Jody Garrett, their center fielder. Fly to center to start the game. They also have Randy Wolf, and apparently a lot of teams have been talking to the Padres about that left-hander.
Sure.
Speaking of lefties, Randy Flores of the Cardinals on the 15-day DL. He's got tendonitis in his left ankle, and he should be activated probably tomorrow night. Esteuris over to Pujols. Padres strand their third runner. Loss. Duncan Molina coming up. 1-0 as we move to the bottom of the second. Jake Peavy and the Padres in town. Greg Maddux tomorrow night. And Randy Wolf in game 3. And we remind you that Fox Saturday Baseball features the Cardinals and the Padres this Saturday. And that game will be seen in high definition only on Fox at 2:30 Central. The Padres and the Cardinals.
All the Cardinal players, Troy Glass has had the most success against Jake Peavy. And what a series he came off out of Pittsburgh.
Ooh, he's been hot. 15 home runs, 59 RBIs, and the average back up to 276. We heard he was streaky, and that's the way he's been in his first year here in St. Louis.
Pittsburgh series 10 for 13. 769 average with 2 home runs. Hit 500 for the entire road trip.
1-1 the count.
Had 12 home runs since June 1st. Ranks tied for 3rd amongst National League batters, and Keel also has 12.
1 ball, 1 strike on Troy Glass, and the next to him. Up and in. Jake Peavy, his first season was in 2002. 17 games in 02, and that's the numbers from last year when he was 19-6. That's on the outside corner.
He led in wins, ERA, and strikeouts.
223 plus innings pitched. 240 strikeouts last year.
Unanimous selection, the fourth Padre to be a Cy Young Award winner.
They set up outside again, the 2-2 pitch. Make it 3-2. You can hear Peavy yelling down on the field. You could hear it up here in the booth. Boy, he is intense.
Wow, that's what you love about him. You know, I mean, he's got great stuff, but he's a great competitor.
Troy Gloss out to deep left field. At the track, at the wall, out of here. And the Cardinals have tied it up. Number 16 for Troy Gloss.
Six for 13 with 3 home runs now against Jake Peavy. Troy Gloss. And when you're hot, stay hot.
Looked like he hung a slider here.
You're exactly right. Jake Peavy gets that slider, gets underneath it, kind of stays up in the zone, and that ball is usually going to be hit hard.
Tie ball game, 1-1. Here's Duncan. We've talked about trying to get an impact bat. Name of Matt Holliday has been brought up. Barry Bonds has been brought up. We talked about it in the pregame show. This might be your impact bat, but he's got to come alive. Chris Duncan. There's a broken bat and a liner that's caught. Good play by Gonzalez. Well, we mentioned that Peavy won the Cy Young Award last year. Cy Young winners against the Cardinals. Well, Brandon Webb did it with Arizona. Roger Clemens did it with Houston. And then the Cardinals would face him the following year. Randy Johnson as well with the Arizona Diamondbacks. So how did those 5 starts fare? Webb, a loss. Clemens, a no decision. Randy Johnson, 8 innings, a loss. And then Johnson did it again back in '99, a loss. And you saw what happened in 1996. So we've had Cy Young Award winners come back 5 different times recently, and they have not fared well. What will happen tonight here with Jake Peavy?
The Cardinals have already done something they couldn't do last year in 2 starts against Peavy, and that's score.
The 0-1 pitch to Molina, who's turned into a little bit of a threat offensively for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Yachty swinging the bat. He was 7 for 15 in a 4-game hitting streak, over 400.
Gloss, by the way, has reached safely in 13 of his last 14 plate appearances. Slowly hit towards third, a fair ball, and Molina is out by about 5 steps. He's got 5 singles, 2 doubles, 3 home runs, and 3 walks. So Gloss is arguably the hottest hitter in this lineup right now for Tony La Russa. Here's Kyle Loesch hitting .079. No homers, 4 RBIs. Tony La Russa, of course, is using the pitcher 8th. Strike on the outside corner. Chris Carpenter, this is great news. He's been cleared to begin an injury rehab assignment. Sunday, July 20th, he'll be with Springfield. They will host Northwest Arkansas. Mark Mulder was seen today by a different doctor, Dr. Craig Morgan. He'll be examined tomorrow by Dr. James Andrews, and those results of the exams expected late tomorrow. Also, Adam Wainwright, right middle finger. They say he feels pretty good, and he's been doing his light throwing program. He'll begin throwing from the mound in the next week to 10 days. The idea would be to have him back by August 1st or so.
Still hasn't snapped the breaking ball. Been out since June the 7th with that sprained pulley tendon.
Did you guys have many guys hurt themselves, and I mean this sincerely, with finger injuries, pitchers?
No, the only ones I ever would recall would be the blisters.
There's a ground ball sharply hit towards third and handled. Well, Troy Gloss has tied it up here at Busch Stadium. He is red hot, hanging slider, and no doubt about it. Cardinal third baseman goes deep for the 16th time. We're tied up 1-1 after 2. Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is presented by Southwest Airlines. Top of the third, 1-1 game. Edgar Gonzalez, Brian Giles, and then Adrian Gonzalez. Cardinals able to tie it up on a home run by Troy Gloss, his 16th of the year. And Loge goes back to work. He's thrown 41 pitches already, and we're only in the third. Edgar Gonzalez, first time up, singled and scored. The RBI by Kuzminoff with 2 outs back in the first. And away we go here to start this third. And there's a pitch taken for a ball low and away. Gonzalez has been hitting around 300 for basically the entire year. And he jumps on the pitch out to deep left field. Duncan is back at the wall, and it's gone. 2-1 in favor of San Diego. Edgar Gonzalez with his 4th home run. And he picks up RBI number 17. So Gonzalez goes deep, and the Padres are back on top. It's 2-1. See Molina set up outside that tailed back in, and Gonzalez jumped on the pitch, and here is Giles, who flied to right his first time up. And out to visit goes Yadier Molina. So RBIs tonight by Kuzminoff, his 40th of the year, and a solo home run by Gonzalez, his 17th of the year. As far as the RBIs are concerned, we're going to visit with Jerry Ritter in just a moment, talk about the big golf event coming to St. Louis just around the corner, the BMW Championship. On deck, Adrian Gonzalez. 1-0 pitch to Giles. Out to center. And Keel will back up in front of the track. Plenty of room, and puts it away for the first out. So Giles is 0 for 2, and it brings in Adrian Gonzalez, the all-star rep for San Diego, who walked his first time up. And joining us now in the booth, and always a pleasure to visit with, Jerry Ritter. Of course, I had a chance to visit with you all the time when you were associated with the St. Louis Blues, and it's great to see you back in sports. How are you?
Yeah, it's great to be here. Great to be here tonight. Summertime is here. Baseball's in the air. Golf's in the air. We've got the PGA event coming up in a couple of weeks. We got the British Open going right now. So it's that
slices. That's going to be a fair ball. Nice piece of hitting that time by Gonzalez. But you come to expect that with him. Second time that he has been on base with a walk and now a double. So let's talk about the BMW Championship. September 1st through the 7th at Belle Reve. Unfortunately for you guys, and I know a lot of people point to this, is that there's no Tiger Woods, but you have the biggest stars in golf coming through town. You know,
it really adds a new dimension to the event, because without Tiger, it gives you an opportunity to see some of these young guys who are coming along, and they are fabulous golfers. And it's going to be a more competitive event. It'll be one that I think the fans will enjoy immensely.
How about the response from the fans? Ticket sales?
The response has been reasonably good. There was some slight fall off with ticket sales after the Tiger's announcement of his season-ending injury and season-ending surgery, but it has been coming back in the last couple of weeks, and we expect to have in the neighborhood of 25,000 to 30,000 tickets outstanding.
Well, that's great. Well, you're going to have Sergio Garcia, you're going to have lefty Phil Mickelson, so you're going to have some of the biggest names in the sport.
All the big ones, and the tickets can be acquired by website going to bmwchampionshiptickets.com. So any of your viewers who are interested in joining us at that marvelous event can buy tickets at that location.
And it's at Belle Reve Country Club, which is one of the best golf courses and clubs in the country. A lot of renovations out there, so this is going to be a tough course.
It's going to be challenging to the golfers, and that's what we wanted, and that's what the BMW folks wanted as well as the PGA Tour. This is a combination of cooperation between the Western Golf Association, which, as you probably know, Dan,
right,
is the principal beneficiary of this event. All the proceeds go to the scholarship fund that they have been supporting for 40 or 50 years. They've educated some 8,000 caddies through this program over that time period, and today we have over 800 students who are receiving scholarships, and their campuses, their quarters at the University of Missouri in Columbia, as well as the Champaign and University of Illinois. So we've got a lot of folks right here in St. Louis.
Here's a pitch that's taken for a strike on the outside corner. This is Chase Headley, left fielder, as Loge needs a double play here. One out, runners at first and second. Again, it's the BMW Championship at Belle Reve, just around the corner, September 1st through the 7th. And again, you can get your tickets at bmwchampionshiptickets.com. That's all together, bmwchampionshiptickets.com. Also, if you want to find out more information, bmwchampionshipusa.com. Jerry, for people that don't really know all about the golf world or where this is in the pecking order of tournaments, it's not a major championship, obviously, but where is this as far as some of the great tournaments that are out there?
Well, this is the FedEx Cup championship, and we're having there are 4 major events for the championship, and this is the third of the 4 that leads up to the winner being crowned at the major Atlanta championship, and the winner of the $10 million for the FedEx Cup.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Jerry. That's Jerry Ritter. The BMW Championship coming through St. Louis in September. Cardinal Baseball on FSN is brought to you by your St. Louis area Kia retailers. Kia, the power to surprise. By Aflac, ask about it at work. By the new Frutista from Taco Bell. And by Bank of America. First pitch is hit out of play off the bat of Cesar Izturis. So we're looking forward to that BMW Championship. And he was telling us as he was leaving the booth, Rocco Mediate is leading the British Open, and he'll be part of the BMW Championship again September 1st through the 7th, and tickets are still available.
That's going to be a great event.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful facility out there at Belle Reve, and it's all enjoy.
Good to see Jerry Ritter. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Hit out of play. Of course, Al spent his time. I had to bend over to get this my computer, Al. I almost fell out of my seat. You spent your all-star break chasing that white little ball.
That's right.
You want to tell our viewers where you went?
Went to Mullen, Nebraska.
And why would you go to Nebraska in the middle of the summer?
Because I went to Sand Hills.
Not bad.
Great Sand Hills in Nebraska. There's a wonderful golf course there, rated #1 of new courses since 1960, and I guess 8th overall in the country. And our friend Mike Jamieson was kind enough to invite myself and 6 others, I guess, and a party of 8. We had a great time there.
Good stuff. There's a foul tip by Skip Schumacher. It's 2-1 San Diego. While you were out of the booth, Edgar Gonzalez would go deep, his 4th home run of the season, 2-1 Padres. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Skip.
We talked about that Kyle Loesch really doesn't throw anything over the plate. Well, tonight that has not been the case. He's gotten a lot of balls up and out over the middle of the plate.
That's hit out of play. Cardinal fans, make sure to come on down tomorrow. Every Friday home game, it's the Bush Bash. It features prizes, live music, and more. And you can join us July 18th from 6 to 6:30. Autograph session. A Cardinal player will be out there. Find out more at stlcardinals.com. The 1-2. Schumacher hits it out of play. Skip struck out his first time up. Peavy has struck out too. He struck out Schumacher and Ankiel first time through.
And he's very dominant against the right-handed batters, so look out when he's on the mound.
The 1-2. Schumacher takes it in the dirt. He is not as sharp tonight as we have seen him in the past, and it looks like his breaking ball isn't quite as sharp.
Yeah, and that's not that unusual. As I said, you have that 3 days off. It's creatures of habit.
Oof. Called third strike. Schumacher knew it. He strikes out for the second time. This date in baseball history is brought to you by Schnucks. And this is back in 1990 against the Padres. Cardinals would drop 10 in the third. There's a look at some of the names from that Cardinal team. It was a 1980 team of the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's a ground ball. Hit to first. Gonzalez will flip to Peavy in an easy bottom of the third. We played 3, and it's 2-1 in favor of the San Diego Padres. Khalil Green leads it off for the Padres as we move to the top of the fourth. San Diego with 5 base hits. 2-1 in favor of the Padres. Little chopper hit towards short. Isturis to his left, and he makes the play. Sunday night is television's biggest night, with the summer sports block beginning with the Hooters Dream Girls, then baseball's golden age, followed by amazing sports stories, and finally it's the best damn sports show period. The summer sports block begins Sunday at 7, only on FSN.
What was the first part?
There's the promo. Go ahead and read it. There's a strike.
That's a new show we haven't heard about.
Luke Carlin. I don't think we need to go there. Just tune in at 7. Carlin grounded out sharply to first, his first time up. Pitch number 58 from Loge. A breaking ball down and in.
Carlin is a switch hitter, struggling from both sides of the plate.
All-star snub.
Carlin?
Kyle Loge.
Oh, okay.
Thinking more along the lines with Loge. Those 11 wins that he has under his belt. Miles to his right makes the play. This year, when you can't be home to watch the Cardinals on FSN, check out MLB.tv, and you can go online to watch every out-of-market Cardinals game of the season live. For details, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. Packed house, as you might expect, here at Busch Stadium. It's turned into a pleasant evening. It was a real hot day here in the Midwest in St. Louis. What's interesting is that the Cardinals tell us they have a lot of tickets remaining for that Milwaukee series, and that is going to be one of the bigger series so far this season.
And that is going to be, as you said, a series that's going to dictate an awful lot about the wild card and the Central Division.
It begins on Monday night. It's a 4-game set. This is an 8-game homestand for the Cardinals.
Hard to believe, and Milwaukee's such a good ball club.
Grounder slowly hit towards the middle. Miles off balance. Oh, what a play! Aaron Miles. Wow. And he takes a hit away from Jake Peavy. Bud Light, what's on tap? Bud Light keeps it coming. And we'll have game 2 of this 4-game series for you tomorrow. The pregame show at 6. And 7:15 with our first pitch. What's on tap is brought to you by Bud Light. Cardinals and Padres. Here's a look at the upcoming games. Of course, Sunday is KSDK with Ricky Horton and Jay Randolph, and then all the games against Milwaukee will be right here on FSN. Then we're off to New York and Atlanta. The schedule is not an easy one for the Cardinals upcoming.
Well, let's just have fun with it. Just go out there and challenge yourself, and this is a ball club that's been very resilient. Every time they've had an obstacle, and they've had plenty, you know, they've found a way to fight their way through it. I think they'll be welcome for the challenge.
Outfield deep for Pujols. Here we go. First pitch taken for a ball outside. And that's hit out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mano y mano right here when you talk about Peavy and Pujols. Up and in, 2 balls and a strike.
Albert had his bat shattered the first time up, a little pop up to first.
Here's a 2-1. Ooh. Hit on the hands.
These two have gone head to head. Albert is 6 for 18 with a pair of home runs.
2-2 is hit out to short. Khalil Green with it. Let's go pitch by pitch. Jake Peavy, Albert Pujols, 2 of the game's best.
Well, you just love a guy that's going to challenge one of the best hitters in all of baseball. And that's pretty much where he starts out. He's going to work away with a fastball, just missing, and back inside. He missed location. Back inside. This time he got missed and missed where he couldn't get hurt. There's a good pitch, pitcher's pitch, jamming him, and then the slider away. Even though it was elevated and up a little bit, he had him reaching and tried to pull it and ground to short.
Strike 1 on Rick Ankiel. Leads the Cardinals with 10 game-winning RBIs. 10 home runs since June 19th. So he's been on a little bit of a tear for the Cardinals. 1 ball, 1 strike. Struck out his first time. Ankiel high in the air, right center field. At the wall, does it have enough? Out of here! Just over the wall for Rick Ankiel. 21 on the year for the Cardinals center fielder.
Talk about that. This team depended on the home runs and mislocation as the ball came back over the middle of the plate. Garrett goes up on the wall, but can't get to the top of the first row. 51 RBIs and 21 home runs, and we have a tie ball game.
Couple of solo shots for the Cardinals, Gloss and Ankiel, and here's Troy Gloss. Looks at a ball low and outside. Gloss picked up number 16 and RBI number 60. Rick Ankiel, he's something else. Did a program on Ankiel that folks will see in early August, and In My Own Words program, and Tony La Russa was saying that in his mind there would be no doubt, and I'm not sure if you buy into this, but he said if Mike Matheny was catching when Rick had his meltdown during the playoffs, in his mind Rick Ankiel would still be pitching. Puts that much value in Mike Matheny and just what took place in the stage of it all, the big stage of the playoffs and national television. Gloss, left field, his second of the night, into the bullpen. The Cardinals go back to back. Three home runs on the night for St. Louis.
And you got 2 starters in Peavy and Roche that came in with only allowing 8 home runs each. A couple of the stingiest pitchers in the National League, and yet the ball is just kind of, they're all being earned and they're missing location. But you can see Ankiel enjoys the second home run by Troy Gloss as much as hitting his own.
Only the second time this season the Cardinals have gone back-to-back. They did it against Homer Bailey at Cincinnati earlier this year.
Getting back to your thought, I would not dispute that. And you know, you and I were in attendance watching that day, and we just never thought he would duplicate it his next start.
No.
But I would think that Mike Matheny would have had a calming effect on him and would have, you know, at least minimized it and hopefully avoided it.
And in the first half of this year, he had a catch on a Sunday afternoon. Mike Shannon said it was the best catch he had ever seen by a center fielder on that particular type of play, going back with his back to the infield and diving towards the track. And the players that were in the outfield in Colorado on the night of the 2 throws said it was by far the best throws they'd ever seen. And that's just the first half of his first full season. What's to come?
Yeah, just an exceptional athlete and having some fun. Miles had that great defensive play. Troy Glass and Ankiel providing the power.
Out in front of that pitch, expecting a fastball, and got the changeup at 84 miles an hour, 3-2.
He's got such great release point, and all of his pitches look the same.
Well, you mentioned the defense, and we just saw a great play from Aaron Miles to end the top of this inning. Right field line, and this ball is foul. Cardinals trying to make it 3 in a row, but in you grading the Cardinals, you talked about how well they have played defensively, and what about a great play there from Miles.
Well, and you know, we talked about how well the bench is. You know, Miles, it's hard to describe him as an everyday player, but he usually finds himself in lineup the way he's hitting. But he will, if he doesn't make a play, it's not because lack of effort. And that's kind of an example of the way this bench is, the way this team is. They fight for at bats. They all want to get into a game. And like you say, the all-star Ludwig finds himself the first game after the break not in the lineup.
Something else. That's 4 strikeouts for Jake Peavy. Here's a look at the play defensively. This is brought to you by Suntrip.com, our camera, the Suntrip Automotive Group. What a great play this is from Miles.
Well into the outfield. You're running straight into left field. You've got to collect yourself and somehow reverse direction and throw off balance, and got him out.
Molina with a base hit up the middle. He's 1 for 2 on the night.
You know,
you had talked about, you know, the fact that the Cardinals do hit a lot of home runs, but a lot of these, and it's not just tonight, we've got 3 solo home runs that we've seen from the Cardinals, but throughout this entire year, a lot of solo home runs.
The Cardinals have scored 451 runs, and they have 105 home runs. But like you said, many times, and it seems like more the last couple weeks, that this team has been so dependent on the home run ball for their scoring threats.
Wondering about the numbers for Ricky Ankiel since his call-up, which was last year in August. We'll tell you about basically what is close to a full season for Ricky Ankiel. The numbers are pretty impressive. We'll do that when we come back. Troy Glass and Ankiel, they go back-to-back, and the Cardinals back on top. It's 3-2. Top of the 5th rolls in, and it's 3-2 in favor of the Cardinals. 3 solo home runs, and right now you can help Children's Hospital with Teaming Up for Kids. FSM Midwest has joined Walgreens, Jack in the Box, and other retailers to sell $1 scratch-off tickets with great prizes. Every dollar benefits Children's Hospital, so please buy a ticket, scratch it off, and everyone wins. The 2 home run hitters last inning. They go back-to-back, Ricky Ankiel. Troy Glass. Ankiel's measured at 397 feet. Glass has 2 home runs tonight, one at 404, the other one at 395. Jody Garrett, top of the lineup against Kyle Loge. So here we go, Al, looking at the numbers for Ricky Ankiel since he was called up, which was, I believe, August 9th of last year, but let's just say early August. He's played in a total of 131 games. This includes tonight. He now has 32 home runs and 90 RBIs in that time in 581 at-bats. It gives you an idea where he might be in a full season.
35 home runs, 600 at-bats. And just, as you said, you know, he's still a very young, everyday player.
He's still learning at this level. Popped up, and Isturis has it. Saturday, August 2nd is Creve Coeur Camera Photo Night here at Busch Stadium. Gates open at 4:15. Bring your camera, arrive early. You'll go on the field to snap up-close pictures of all your favorite players and coaches. It's Creed Corps Camera Photo Night, Saturday, August 2nd. That's always a popular night here in St. Louis. Swing and a miss by Edgar Gonzalez, who has homered, scored both runs, and singled back in the first.
He's a candidate for Rookie of the Year. He's first among National League rookie leaders in batting average. Also among the leaders in home runs, RBIs, multi-hit games.
And a strikeout for Loge. Pitch number 68. Maybe we're seeing him starting to settle in.
First strikeout. Retired 6 in a row now. So good to see him kind of wear himself down, maybe get command of his pitches, keep the ball down and out of the middle of the plate.
Suntrup.com Cam is brought to you by the Suntrup Automotive Group. 2 outs. Here's Giles. And the pace is picked up a little bit here by Kyle Loge.
Sometimes an indication of how he feels. That, you know, he's found his groove.
1-0 pitch to Giles. Showed you the numbers earlier that Giles has really hit the Cardinals well. 71 pitches, and there it is. He really has settled in after that 30-pitch first inning. The 2-0. Giles taps it foul. Will the Cardinals approach Kyle Loge before this season is through about a contract extension? He would like to stay here. His agent, well, who knows? Scott Boras. And you wouldn't expect any kind of hometown discount or break in dealing with Scott Boras. 2-2. And a swing and a miss and a pitch in the dirt and back-to-back strikeouts. Coming up is Turris, Schumacher, and Miles. If anybody can reach, then Albert Pujols. 3-2 St. Louis. This portion of Cardinal Baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. By your local St. Louis Chrysler dealers. And by Jack in the Box. We don't make it until you order it. Is Turris with a fly ball out to deep right field. That'll stay in the ballpark. You're watching Cardinals baseball here on FSN Midwest. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. And we're delighted to have you with us as the Cardinals own a 1-run lead here in this 5th inning. Schumacher 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Turris 0 for 2 with a pair of flyouts to right. There's a line drive out to left and a diving catch made. Outstanding play from Headley. 2 pitches and 2 outs.
Well, a guy like Jake Peavy, I do believe in going up there and getting the first pitch that you can get a good swing at.
Suntrup.com Cam brought to you by the Suntrup Automotive Group.
Young outfielder. Headley out there. And the Padres are tied with the Cardinals for the fewest errors. So 2 very good defensive teams on display.
Pitches by inning and only 3 here in the 5th.
Maybe a 1.45 ERA at home and a 4.40 on the road.
And you'll see that Miles play on the postgame show coming up. It's the postgame show that just keeps on giving.
By the way, very nice job on the pregame show.
Well, I'm talking specifically, and I appreciate that, Al, but that postgame show, it just keeps on giving highlight after highlight, and it's a rather lengthy postgame show.
You know,
the Cardinal fans like it.
Got to see a little bit of it last Saturday night.
Do you know there's a cameraman right behind us?
Yeah, I can see it in the monitor.
Okay. Wasn't sure if you would check the monitor, Al. You never know with you what you're watching. Cardinals lead it by a run. We move to the 6th, and it's 3-2. And welcome back. It's 3-2 in favor of the St. Louis Cardinals. And we remind you that the Cardinals series against the Padres continues tomorrow night. And that will be in high definition. Live coverage beginning at 6, only here on FSN Midwest. I really enjoyed our pregame show segment. Answering emails. I thought you were on your game, Al. I really did.
Well, you just had me psyched up.
Felt I brought.
You brought it out of me.
Yeah, I felt that.
You did.
I did. We'll do it again tomorrow if you want.
Absolutely.
Get a hold of Straubinger and let him know, or find the producer for the pregame show, Brad Straubinger. Al wants a nightly segment. Two and 1 the count on Adrian Gonzalez. Milwaukee coming to town with Sheets and Sabathia. Up the middle, base hit. Gonzalez can just flat out hit.
I think Gonzalez has done some damages tonight. 4 hits and a walk between them. Home run for Edgar.
Gonzalez 22 home runs, which was tied for second most in franchise history before the All-Star break. 71 RBIs, 5th best in Padres history before the break.
Kuzmanov has been hit 12 times. That's 1 away from the franchise record set by Gene Tennis. The guy must hang out over the plate.
And a pitch taken a little low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals lead it 3-2. 3 solo home runs. State in Cardinals history. 1974, Bob Gibson. Strikeout number 3,000.
Cesar Geronimo. Leading
Cincinnati Reds. That's right.
At that time, you know, I'm not sure, he might have been the 2nd pitcher in Major League history to strike out 3,000.
Took a no decision in the game, but the old Busch Stadium, seeing the highlight, you'd see him walk off the mound at the end of the 2nd inning. Strikeout number 3,000. Gonzalez is the tying run. He stands at first. The 2-2 pitch to Kuzmanov, who's been on base twice. Lowe's would love a double play. The Cardinals have one tonight.
Kuzmanov was front end of a double play off the bat of Headley. And he's hit into 9 double plays on the year.
Hit by pitch 12 times, says Kuzmanov. Most in the National League. The 2-2. Held on to a foul tip. And a strikeout for Lowe's. Just his 3rd of the night. He's picked up those strikeouts in the last 2 innings. Well, you can host your next party at the ballpark and leave the entertaining to us. Cardinals party rooms feature complimentary beer, soda, snacks, plus a great view of the game. Outdoor seating, also an air-conditioned indoor area. Party rooms are great for groups of 30 or more. Book yours today at stlcardinals.com. Here's Headley, lined out and hit into that double play.
Hit safely in 21 of 24 games since being recalled, and 16 of his past 17 games, almost a 300 average.
6-game hitting streak. He is 9 for 24 during this streak. There's a strike on the outside corner.
Much better hitter from the right side.
Padres did make a trade during the break. They traded infielder Tony Clark back to Arizona.
Actually playing with a 24-man roster tonight.
1-2 the count. Their GM is Kevin Towers. He's been around in San Diego a long time. Headley on Sunday had the 8th longest home run in Petco Park history. They measured it at 434 feet. Chase has 6 home runs on the year.
4 of them from the left side. Batting .361 right-handed with 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. He's down to .228 coming in with 4 home runs, 7 RBIs with nearly twice as many at bats left-handed.
The 1-2. There's a double play ball on a hop to Miles. Isturis over to first. Double play for 6-3. Loge is through 6. The Cardinals lead it by a run. Pujols due up first. Cardinals with a lead of 3-2 here in the bottom of the 6th. Jake Peavy back to work. He'll face 3, 4, and 5 in this Cardinal lineup. Pujols, Ankiel, and Gloss. 3 home runs tonight for the Cardinals, but none for Albert. First pitch to him. Pujols with 18 home runs this season. He's popped out to first. He's also grounded out to short. The 0-1. Sharply hit left side and off the glove of the third baseman and into left. Our Lincoln Mercury starters comparison, Peavy and Loge. Jake Peavy pitching into the 6th. You see Loge, 6 innings, 6 hits, couple of runs. And Peavy, 5 innings, 6 hits, and 3 runs.
3 solo home runs against Peavy. A solo home run against Loge. These are 2 pitchers that usually keep the ball in the ballpark.
So leadoff base hit by Pujols, an amazing stat with Albert. Only player in the major leagues with at least twice as many walks as strikeouts this season. Only player.
30 walks, or excuse me, 61 walks, 30 strikeouts. That's old school. Used to be guys in the minor leagues that hit 50+ home runs, but they'd stay in the minor leagues because they struck out over 100 times.
Now those guys are making millions.
Yeah. Some of them are Punch and Judy shortstops.
Cardinals, by the way, 22-9 this season when Ankiel drives in a run, 24-28 when he plays and doesn't drive in a run. So he is a key component for this offense. The 2-1.
You know, just like tonight, first time up, Peavy made some good pitches on him, got him to expand the zone, struck him out. In the 4th, he missed location, got a pitch over the middle of the plate, and Rick hit it out.
Short lead at first by Albert Pujols. Here comes a 2-2 pitch from Peavy to Rick Ankiel. Took something off it and strikes him out. Five strikeouts for Jake Peavy, but the Cardinals have been loving the long ball. The first one, Troy Gloss in our Hardy's prime cut of the game. Then it was Rick Ankiel, and right after that, the Cardinals go back-to-back. Gloss again. 17 on the year for Troy Gloss.
Well, what have you done for us lately?
That's right. Can he make it a 3 home run night? They'll go inside on him. Gloss looks at a strike. Peavy's the kind of guy, though, that says, all right, you hit 2 off me. I'm coming right at you again.
No, he's not afraid. That is one thing that this young man will just attack hitters. He knows he made bad location on pitches, and that's why he gave up home runs. Not that it was, it was a pitch where he wanted to make it, and he'll come and stay in attack mode.
I wonder if Peavy threw over to first because he didn't get the pitch selection that he liked. Throw over, change it up. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sometimes you agree with the catcher, and as you say, that all of a sudden you think about it, so nah, I really don't want to throw that one. So throw over to first, and then rather than step off, change the signal.
1-2. Loss red hot in the Pittsburgh series, as we talked about earlier. 10 for 13, a couple of home runs, and he now has 4 home runs in his last 15 plate appearances. It's a hanging slider on one of the home runs. Would he do it again?
Slider coming, but that's a good one.
Well, that's a tough pitch to stay away from right there.
Yeah, and it's very, very difficult with 2 strikes not to expand your zone and go fishing after that one, but Troy laid away from it. But that pitch was exactly where Peavy wanted it, heading the count. Didn't want the slider, fastball in, looks like fastball away.
The 2-2 just missed outside. 3-2. Before it's all said and done, it looks like Troy Glaus is going to wind up with 30 home runs and close to 100 RBIs.
Very slow start in the power department for Glaus, but he's made up for it recently. Fastball away.
3-2. Glaus, a high fly ball into center field. Garrett makes the catch for out number 2.
Just goes to show you, even one of the best, Jake Peavy, doesn't hit his location that often.
Well, tomorrow night, get a look around the major leagues. It's the baseball report covering every team all season long. The baseball report Friday at 5:30. Pre-game show at 6, 7 o'clock with the play-by-play game coverage.
And once again, Monday is an early start time, right?
That's right.
6:05.
6:05. 2 outs. Here's Duncan. Fastball on a strike. Duncan is struck out and is also popped out. I was looking at a stat the other day. In the first half, Pujols led baseball as far as reaching hitters counts, whether that be 2-1 or 3-1. It just again shows you the importance of a first pitch. Now in the back of Duncan's mind, he's thinking, all right, what am I going to get here? 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He was ahead in the count last time up, and then Peavy pulled the string a couple times. 1 ball, 1 strike here. They set up outside. Duncan looks at it there. 2-1.
Peavy has very good control. He doesn't walk many. He has not walked a man here tonight.
Here's a swing and a miss. 2-2 to even it up.
He's got 99 strikeouts and 27 walks.
Duncan, Al, has been better. Last 75 games, batting close to .310, on base percentage over .400. You'd take that, but you'd love to see some more power.
Slider in on his hands.
Check swing. Did not go, full count. So with 2 outs and a runner at first, off with this pitch. No play behind Pujols.
Full count to Chris. Missed with the slider the last time. See if this is a splitter or a changeup.
There goes Pujols in the 3-2. He got him again. Pulled the string, it looked like, at 81 miles an hour. Cardinals strand another runner. They lead it 3-2. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. A red-hot day here in St. Louis has turned into a pleasant night. Very comfortable. 3-2, Cardinals on top as we move to the top of the 7th. 3 solo home runs for St. Louis. And here's Kyle Loge after that 30-pitch first inning, pitching into the 7th inning. That one caught the home plate umpire, Jerry Davis. And Molina, as a courtesy, will visit with Loge and give Davis a little time to catch his breath. By the way, if you're wondering about Scott Rowland and how he has performed this year, he's played in 70 games with the Blue Jays, 6 home runs, 28 RBIs. 28.
That's the average.
And the average for Rowland is at 267. Strike 2.
Eckstein.
Eckstein has spent some time on the DL, but he's hitting 269 as well and has played in 60 games. No balls, 2 strikes. 1-2. Green is only hitting 214, and that's very, very surprising. He's a good player.
Just under 100 RBIs and 27 home runs a year ago. In the mid-250s. But you're right. Numbers are down for this guy. He's very electric.
Ooh, good pitch. A little low. (3-2) is fouled back.
Now Lowe's trying to win his 9th consecutive game and become a 12-game winner. 12-2. You can hear the cash register moving.
Oh yeah. It looked to me the pitch before was a little bit better, but that one called a strike. And we remind you about the Build-A-Bear Day, the workshop day here at Busch Stadium coming up. Children 12 and under receive a free limited edition bear. And it's all online. You can find out at stlcardinals.com. Strikeout of Khalil Green to start the 7th.
It's like Scott Harrison is going to pinch hit for Carlin. He's been one of the hotter hitters.
So Kyle Loge tonight, after a rough first inning, Al has been pretty good.
Through better than 30 pitches in that first inning. And just moving along. 6 1/3 innings right now. It's allowed just 2 runs.
6 1/3 for Kyle Loge.
All right. Talked about the starters and the grading them, and I gave them a B+ because they're only averaging 5 2/3 innings per start. That's what Kyle Loesch averages, but he's beyond that. And if you go a little deeper into ball games, you take a lot of pressure off that bullpen.
Yeah, and that's a bullpen that has registered 20 losses, second most in the big leagues behind the Giants' 21. He's got 22 blown saves, which leads the league.
They lead the league in blown saves. They lead the league in holds.
It's interesting. We say that this team is overachieving, but yet there are so many games in that first half you can look at and say they should have won those games. Those are games that were in hand that they probably should have won.
Well, it's like Tony said on Saturday night, the game that you could not lose, they lost, but they bounced back on Sunday.
It's kind of been the story of this season. On 2-0, it's a ground ball hit to Troy Gloss, and there's 2 away. Go back to your report card. The first half for the Cardinals.
Now the starters, because they're only averaging 5 2/3. The bullpen, they lead in holds, but blown saves and losses, it pulls them down to a C. The offense is a B. Talked about that they're very dependent on the home run, and that's the case here tonight. Defense tied for the fewest errors in the league. great fielding percentage. We saw that from Miles. And the bench, because there's interchangeable parts. How about Jake Peavy?
Second base hit. That's the one that you'd love to have back.
That'll get the bullpen active. Like Kyle McClellan.
Everybody should be rested and ready to roll.
The Padres did have a pitcher warming up in case they elected to pinch hit for Peavy. With 2 outs, they let Peavy hit for himself, and he gets a second hit. He's got 2 of the 7 Padre hits tonight.
Pretty sharp breaking ball there from Kyle Loesch for strike 1.
It's at 102 pitches now.
Can they get to it? Gloss, no.
Wanted to, thought about it, but decided not to dive, and probably would have been a miraculous play.
No balls at 2 strikes. We're in the top of the 7th. 3-2 St. Louis. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Jody Garrett. Molina wants it down. He gets it there. Peavy back to first as he visits with Albert Pujols. And what are those two talking about? Pujols is trying to get to Peavy and hit a bomb off of him. Peavy's trying to strike him out every time.
Albert said, "We missed you at the All-Star game."
Yeah. Could have used you for an inning. Here's a 1-2. Ripped and foul. Not by much.
See Albert holding on, and it was by a foot or half foul, but and 5 2/3 from your starters and 7 innings from your starters is a huge difference.
Yep.
And what it does for that bullpen and making their night a lot easier. But another aspect to the Cardinal bullpen is because of the lack of scoring punch, you're always playing in very tight games, very little margin for error. That's why they have so many losses.
2-2 pitch. Shallow right. Schumacher coming on, and he'll make the play. Makes it on the run. San Diego stranded 5. Loesch is through 7. Time to stretch here in St. Louis. 3-2 St. Louis. And let's take a look at the Cardinals game recap. Here in St. Louis, the Cardinals lead it by a run at Busch Stadium. They trailed early on. Troy Gloss then would tie it up. He's got 2 on the night. Padres then take the lead. Then the Cardinals go back-to-back. And Keel and Gloss back-to-back home runs. 3 solo shots. That's the difference in the game. The Jack in the Box game recap. Jake Peavy has stayed in this ball game. No pinch hitter for him in the 7th with a runner on.
But they did pinch hit for the catchers, so Nick Hundley is now catching Jake Peavy.
Yankees have reached a tentative agreement with Richie Sexson, released by the Mariners a week ago.
There you see Nick Hundley, and Molina is hitting, and I was very saddened. I was gone since Sunday morning. I was very saddened to hear about the death of Dave Ricketts.
Yeah.
What a class act, and he meant an awful lot to a lot of people in this organization.
Molina fouls it back. Paul Brandt is tonight's merchandise winner, the Hyundai long drive inning. If the Cardinals can hit a home run, Paul Brandt qualifies for the Sonata drawing in September. To register, you still can visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Molina out to left, and the catch made.
I didn't get back to St. Louis until last night, so I was sad not to go to the funeral of Ricketts.
Loving the long ball tonight. 3 home runs, solo shots for the Cardinals.
So Mather is going to pinch hit here for Kyle Loesch, who did his job through 7 innings.
You certainly don't see many home runs against Jake Peavy. That's why we like to show that again.
He only allowed 8 home runs coming in at just under 100 innings.
Joe Mather right on cue, left center field. To the track, to the wall. Gone. It's off the top of the wall. And a home run for Joe Mather. 4 solo shots for St. Louis tonight. Takes Jake Peavy deep, and it's a 2-run Cardinals lead.
I see a high fastball, and he just gets it into the shrubbery, and Jake Peavy can hardly believe his fate here tonight. Fierce competitor who his last 2 outings was 2-0 and did not allow a run through 14 innings, and gets touched for 4 solo shots tonight.
And that's hit out of play. Torres is 0 for 2, a pair of flyouts to right. 0-2 pitch is down and in. How about that, though? 4 solo home runs against Jake Peavy.
94 2/3 innings, he allowed 8, and here in 6 1/3 innings, 4 tonight.
2-2. Little floater into center. Garrett coming on. Green going out and makes the play.
Kyle Loesch continues to throw, so he'll have the 8th inning, or at least the top of the 8th for the Cardinals.
So McClellan getting loose. Schumacher is 0 for 3. Congratulations to another winner tonight, Paul Brandt, in our long drive inning sweepstakes here in the 7th. Paul Brandt, you have qualified for the drawing with Al at the end of the season. Thanks to Joe Mather. There's a base hit out to left. Cardinals with 4 home runs, and surprisingly none from the bat of Albert Pujols. 1 from Ricky Ankiel, 2 from Gloss, and then solo shot from Mather. You go back to August 7th of last year, the Cardinals have won their last 9 games in which they have hit 4 or more home runs. Miles with a home run on Sunday and 5 RBIs in Pittsburgh. It does say a lot about this team to come back and play the way they did on Sunday after it truly was a devastating loss on Saturday night against the Pirates.
Blowing what, 2 6-run leads?
5 outs away from winning that game, up by 6 runs, I believe.
Can't trust you and Ricky ever, can I?
You know how to pick them. I'll tell you that. Rain delays, 20-run games, or those like Saturday on the games that you have missed.
12-11 extra inning.
2-1 is the count on Miles. with 2 outs and a check on Schumacher. The agent for Francisco Liriano, the pitcher in Minnesota, is asking the Players Union to investigate why the Twins have yet to call him up. He's had a good month, they say, and they want him in the big leagues. They say it's this delay will have an adverse effect on his service time.
Who's running the game, huh?
I don't know where you would put him at this point. I mean, I'm sure you could find a spot. It's Liriano, but
young pitchers are doing the job.
Yeah, look at their rotation. It's been fine. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Schumacher at first with 2 outs.
Teach him not to get hurt.
Had the surgery, trying to come back. And it looked like when he initially came back, he was afraid to throw a breaking ball.
You know, the rehab that they have today, you know, where you can send a guy to the minor leagues to get himself, you know, really prepared for the grind of the major leagues, is in the player's best interest. Used to be, you know, you went on the disabled list, you came off that 21-day disabled list, and you had to be activated right at the big league roster.
Play behind Schumacher with Miles up, hitting from this side of the plate. Here comes a 3-2. And Aaron hits a high fly ball out to right. Cardinals with their 4th home run in this game, thanks to Joe Mather off the bench. Solo shot just cleared the wall in left center. 4-2 St. Louis. Joe Mather stays in the ball game, and he'll play left field for the Cardinals. And Kyle McClellan takes over on the mound. The Redbirds lead it 4 solo home runs, and it's 4-2. So Mather takes over in left. McClellan, our Chevrolet, called to the bullpen, his 46th appearance. Record of 1-4, but an ERA that's under 3, 2.94.
Been a very good first half for Kyle McClellan. He's learned an awful lot pitching at this level. And we'll see how efficient this bullpen is when a starter goes 7 innings. Usually everything falls in place.
2 balls and no strikes.
Ron Vallone is throwing in the Cardinal bullpen.
Our buddy Scott Cooper, the former third baseman of the Cardinals and Red Sox, is living here in St. Louis and teaching baseball to youngsters, along with Matt Whiteside. There's a ground ball pulled foul. He's asked us to pass this along. They're called the St. Louis Gamers. There's Ron Vallone. You can find out more at stlgamers.net. And they have their tryouts coming up, and it's for kids ages 13 through 17. And again, they're instructed by Scott and Matt Whiteside. So the tryouts are August 16th. Whoa.
Breaking ball that got away from him. And he runs the count full. No free passes. Sinker.
And a strikeout to start the 8th. Good pitch. Looks to be down and in.
That's a sinker, so it just 91 miles an hour, just down and in. A little tailing action to it.
There's a breaking ball, the beauty, and therefore a strike to Brian Giles.
Give a head breaking ball. It's got a very good curveball. Comes with his slider or cutter. That one to me is a little inconsistent. Stays flat in the zone. There's the breaking ball getting away from him again. Curveball.
The 2-1 pitch. Line drive out to center field. 2 away. First fastball that Giles saw, and he tattooed it, but right to center and Rick Ankiel.
See if Tony's going to come get him and bring in Balone for Adrian Gonzalez, a home run threat.
So lefty-lefty matchup coming up. Balone coming in. We'll step aside. It's 4-2 St. Louis. Chevrolet called to the bullpen, and it's Ron Balone, 39th appearance. 1-2 is his record. ERA, it's going to be tough to get down after he has taken a couple of games for the team.
Yeah, he's taken a couple hits, but when he's used in this situation, you know, as a situational left-hander coming in and get one guy, he's been extremely effective. Lefties are batting under 200 against him.
And the first pitch to Gonzalez is a strike.
Gonzalez is 1 for 5 with a strikeout against Balone, and you can see, boy, he just plays well off the plate. It's like he'd have a tough time reaching the breaking ball away.
That one in, tied him up, and it's 0-2.
Come right out and attack the hitter. You're 0-2 now. You put him on the defense and make him expand the zone. See if they can. Well, they're going to work back inside. And that'll set up the slider away. Back inside. Fastball.
The 1-2 pitch with 2 outs and nobody on. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Good work in this 8th inning by the bullpen. McClellan and Balone sends us to the bottom of the 8th. Pujols due up first. Baseball tonight on FSN is brought to you by Bud Light. Endless refreshment from start to finish. Bud Light keeps it coming. By Chevrolet. See for yourself. Shop and compare at STLChevy.com. And by Sonic. It's not just good, it's Sonic good. But a nice ball game tonight. Nice night for baseball here in St. Louis. Packed house once again here at Busch Stadium. And a new pitcher, a right-hander. Adams is in for the Padres. Mike Adams, his 22nd appearance.
Non-roster player who did not pitch last year after suffering a knee injury. And he's 06. He split time between the Brewers and the Mets, Cleveland Indians, and the Padre organization. And you're lucky enough to get to face Mr. Pujols.
So you face Pujols and Keel and Gloss. Gloss a pair of home runs tonight, and Keel with a home run. Joe Mather with a home run. Albert fouls it back right below us.
Nice almost play. Tell everybody about how you boo guys when they make errors.
Oh no. The effort was there.
Now that was a good play by a left-hander with a Rawlings glove. See, he caught it. Must have a Rawlings glove. Yeah, put it up, your hand up there.
0-2 the count on Pujols. Albert out to right center field. Well hit. Garrett on the move and makes the catch. Kuzminoff, Headley, and Green are due up for the Padres at the top of the 9th. There's Ricky and Keel.
I'm sure they'll be facing Ryan Franklin. He was warming up to finish the 8th inning.
Big question around here is, will Izzy get to 300 saves?
I think he will. See Izzy back there. Won't be tonight, but I think he'll have his opportunities in the second half.
And Keel has been hot. Gloss has been hot. Hitting behind Albert Pujols.
Coming into tonight's action, Gloss and Izzy were in a race for 300. I think Gloss is going to get there first. 300 home runs. He was 8 away. 6 away with his 2 home runs tonight.
As we talked about, you know, one of the guys that you're looking to get hot, at least hoping to, it would be Chris Duncan.
Sure. I mean, that could be a tremendous lift, and it's something that, you know, he's most capable of. Only 6 home runs on the year, but we've seen him have 20+ home runs and a half.
We talked about it on the pregame show. Brian Barden, Colby Rasmus will take part in the Olympic Games with Team USA. Both selected. Here's the 1-2. And Keel opposite way. Base hit. Had him played very deep. That's one thing I've noticed about this outfield of the Padres tonight. Middle of this lineup, I mean, they are playing extremely deep since the first inning.
And I noticed Garrett, the center fielder, how deep he played, and you know, sometimes that allows you never to misplay a ball. You're never in position to make that real tough catch.
Loss, 1 career 3 home run game. That's a strike. 0-2.
You know, Dan, even Babe Ruth only at one time only had 1 career 3 home run game. He didn't end up that way.
Okay, I'm with you. Are you saying it's going to be a 3 home run game tonight? One of your bold predictions?
No, not my bold prediction, but I'd like to see it.
Ooh, just missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Pretty good pitch from Adams, who went to Texas A&M. 6'5", 190.
Runner goes, and it's hit out of play. Start that runner and see if the Cardinals can avoid the double play. The 1-2 pitch to the Cardinal third baseman instead. Time is called.
It was the pitch that they're running on. It looked like McKay looked over there, and then he tried to call timeout. Was not granted, and Ankiel was running on the pitch.
With a check on Rick Ankiel, back safely at first.
Rule of thumb that usually a guy that's 6'5" has slow feet and a long delivery and easy to get a good jump off of.
And a swing and a miss. So Gloss strikes out for out number 2.
Kennedy is going to pitch it here for Malone.
Lots of room to the right side for Kennedy as they hold Ankiel. Want to do some running here? Let's see. Check swing. Did not go.
Kennedy's been swinging the bat well. He has hits in 14 of his last 16 games at a 370 clip.
And he smokes it out to right center. Garrett dives for it and comes up with it. And it sends us to the ninth. Franklin coming in when we come back. It's 4-2 Cardinals.
Back at Busch Stadium, Cardinals lead at 4-2 as we head to the top of the ninth. Don't forget, coming up after the game on the post-game edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live, we'll get Tony La Russa's post-game comments. We go all access inside the Cardinals clubhouse for player reaction, plus health updates on Adam Wainwright and Chris Carpenter, and another installment of Rick's Rants. Brent Stover and Rick Horton have all that. It's coming up after the game. For now, we send it back to Dan and Al.
All right, Jim, thank you. 4-2 St. Louis, and a look at the suntrip.com cam and the catch by Garrett. Kind of hesitated and then put him in the spot where he had to dive for it.
Yeah, we tried to buy a play so deep and everything. He's got terrific speed to close the gap, but he did make the play and held on to it. Here's Ryan Franklin.
Kuzmanoff on the first pitch, fair ball. Tying run will come to the plate. That goes down into the corner. Mather has to dig it out. And all of a sudden, leadoff double, tying run at the plate.
Izzy now warming up in support of Franklin. Right off the line and right over the bag. So not playing no doubles defense probably costs the Cardinals here. But I'm not one that is so strict and always guarding the line.
Another sellout tonight, 42,148.
You see Izzy warming up.
There's a breaking ball and a strike. Down the right field line, it is hooking and foul.
Headley 0 for 3 today and hit into 2 double plays.
No balls and 2 strikes.
Big crowd for the most part is all stuck around, haven't they?
Well played game. It's been well pitched. And you look up and Kyle Loge has another chance at a win, which would be number 12.
Cardinals could be a real plus to get off to a good start here after the break, and especially defeating Jake Peavy. As good as Kyle Loesch is, you know, we have so much respect for Jake Peavy that you always go out there and say it's going to be a tough matchup.
0-2 pitch in the dirt, 1-2. Trying to put this game away. That would be win number 54. Take the Cardinals to 11 games above the 500 mark. Chicago not playing tonight.
A very small schedule of games in both the American and National League. Only about 4 games.
Right. 1-2. 2-2. 4 solo home runs. If you're just joining us for the Cardinals against Peavy, 2 by Gloss, 1 by Ankiel. Joe Mather off the bench with a home run. The tying run is at the plate. Nobody out here in the ninth. The 2-2 pitch.
Not liking that last call, but it looked like it was just off the plate. See, and it's a ball. Very close, but
well hit left center field. This is trouble. It's at the wall and it's off the wall. Stays in the ballpark. So back-to-back doubles. Kuzmanoff scores to make it 4-3.
3-2 pitch. This one catches a little more of the plate out there and plugs the left center field gap off the wall, and they get it back in, but the tying run in scoring position. Lost to talk to Franklin, and looks like Dave Duncan will come out and pay a visit.
Some anxious moments for these fans and Tony La Russa here at Busch Stadium. As you talked about, Isringhausen getting loose in the pen. You wonder if Dave Duncan is waiting for Jerry Davis and have a word about his strike zone.
I thought it was a ball.
I did too.
Does say something, or looks at Jerry Davis. Ryan Myro is going to pinch hit. He was recalled from AAA Portland on July the 8th. Pinch hit and belted his first major league home run. Hit .324, 10 home runs, 53 RBIs in 87 games for the Beavers. Well, we make it a little more interesting, don't we?
Nobody out here in the ninth. He's swing and a miss. A pitch at 82, and it looked to be up.
Well, Franklin, if you talk to Tony La Russa, he is very confident with Franklin facing the left-handed batter with his repertoire of pitches, particularly the splitter.
Got him to chase, 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch in the dirt.
Myro's an infielder. He appeared in 12 games for the Padres last season, going 1 for 10 with a double and RBI.
Got a piece to stay alive. Trying to keep him close at second. That's the tying run. The go-ahead and potential winning run is at the plate. Oh, just missed.
That's the ball, too. Too low.
Pretty close. 2-2. And he got him to chase at that pitch. Strikes him out. So one out, runner at second base. And let's take a look at our Budweiser player of the game. Budweiser, the great American lager. And it's tonight's starter for the Cardinals, Kyle Loge.
He's very good, going through 7 innings. 2 runs, a solo home run. Walked a couple. And struck out 4. And then in line for his 12th victory of the year.
This is Nick Hundley. One and one. Ground ball slowly hit towards second. Hundley retired for out number 2. 1 out away.
Luis Rodriguez, switch hitter, will be the pinch hitter. He was recalled from AAA Portland on July 4th. He was hitting .302 with just 1 home run, 8 RBIs, and 31 games for the Beavers.
2 outs, tying run over at third here in the ninth. Much of this crowd on their feet, 42,000 plus. First pitch, a strike.
Rodriguez doesn't strike out much. Probably just a slap hitter, particularly from the left side.
Here's the 0-1. That's strike 2. Has him in a hole here with 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Crowd has enjoyed this, and especially if Franklin can get the final out. Didn't want the slider, didn't want the curveball. It's the splitter.
In the dirt. Good stop by Molina.
That is a pressure stop right there.
2-2.
Padres on a pace to lose 98 games. We want the splitter. Look like curveball.
2-2 pitch. Spoiled and hit out of play. Up in the zone.
Rodriguez played 68 games for the Twins, batting just .219 last season. Came off of waivers from Minnesota. We want the slider, fastball away. Padres are making Franklin earn it this inning. He is 24th pitch of the ninth.
2-2 the count.
It's fastball, slider, splitter, curveball. Time is called. He does have 6 pitches, and he only went through 4.
Times you would think this would be frustrating maybe for a pitcher where you disrupt the flow of what he's in and also having the crowd behind you.
Well, I think what it also is, you know, you're at the crucial point of the game that you want to make sure you're on the same page. It's a little more frustrating when you keep on shaking off. So they get together and make sure you're on the same page. Franklin, that W, that L, that blown save goes behind his name, so he should throw what he wants. But Yachty will plead his case and explain why he wanted a certain pitch.
Here we go, the 2-2 from Franklin. Ground ball, 2-2. Handled by Miles. Cardinals take game 1, 4-3 the final. 4 home runs tonight. Lowe's is a 12-game winner. And Keel goes deep. Loss with a pair. Mather a home run. Stay with us. U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live is coming up. Hard fought, well pitched. 4-3. The Cardinals win it.
The second half is officially underway. It starts with the Redbirds' victory 4-3 tonight on the homestand over the San Diego Padres. U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live just getting going. What'd you see tonight, Rick?
Brent, good start to the second half. The Cardinals bullpen bent a little bit there in the ninth inning, but they came up with a victory. And it was a long ball today, which is the story. 4 Cardinal home runs.
More on that. Plus, as we move forward on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live, it's a push in the second half for the Cardinals. Can they get to the postseason? Can they win the division? What do they need to do to get it done? Plus, all-star snub Kyle Loesch back on the hill for the Redbirds. Could he shut the Padres down? And we go inside the Cardinals clubhouse for player reaction and bring you Tony La Russa's post-game comments. Don't go anywhere. U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live is next.
Welcome to U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live.
Well, the second half of the season has officially begun. Cardinal fans going home, and they are happy. It's a 4-3 victory for the St. Louis Cardinals over the San Diego Padres in a game which got very interesting late. Hello and welcome to the post-game edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live alongside the former lefty reliever. It's Rick Horton, and I'm Brent Stover, and plenty to come on this show. We're going to talk about what the Redbirds need to do in the second half to make a playoff push. And, of course, post-game reaction, Jim Hayes inside the clubhouse, Tony La Russa's post-game comments as well, and another edition of Rick's Rants. You never want to miss that. That and more coming up on U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live. And, as always, don't forget, you can get involved in the show. If you have a question about the Cards, it's U.S. Cellular text time. Send us a text message, 37289. Remember to include your first name and where you're texting from in your message. Standard text messaging rates do apply. Jim Hayes now standing by with our Mid-America Chevrolet dealers player of the game. It's Troy Gloss. Jim?
Troy Gloss, a pair of homers in this one, number 16 and number 17. Jake Peavy's a guy, doesn't give up a lot of homers, just 8 home runs surrendered going into it. What's your approach against him?
Well, I mean, you know, he's an aggressive pitcher, and you got to stay with him on that. You know, he usually pounds the strike zone and pounds it down, and you just got to try to get a good swing, get a good pitch over the plate and put a good swing on it.
The break, is that something you look forward to get a little rest? Do you feel energized?
You know, the 3 days off is nice, you know. This year was a little bit later than normal, but, you know, the 3 days off is nice, kind of recharge the battery, then come back in and make a push here in the second half.
Kyle Loesch wins his 12th. How important has he been to this team?
He's been solid all year, you know. I mean, he's had, great outing after great outing, and, a couple times we didn't score for him, but, 12-2 speaks for itself. He's done a great job all year for us.
Troy, you mentioned this isn't the midway point. It's well past that, but it is the post-All-Star break. Is it better to open up with a win here?
Certainly, you know, at this point, we just need to tally wins. You know, we need to win as many games as possible against, whomever. We can't worry about who's on the other side one way or the other, in the division, not in the division. We just have to keep tallying wins and see what we end up at the end.
Thanks for the time.
All right, thank you.
Troy Gloss, his second multi-homer game of the season. Brent, we go back to you.
Jim, thanks. And in San Diego earlier this year, was the Cardinals winning 2 of 3 out on the coast, and a good start to this one, and a good start not just to the series but to the post-All-Star portion of the schedule.
In this game, Brent, almost a microcosm of the first half for both of these ball clubs. Padres lose a game after a well-pitched game by Jake Peavy, one of the best pitchers on the planet, but they can't get him enough runs. His ERA is low, but he can't win. And the Cardinals winning a 1-run game, another close game that comes down to beat relief pitching at the end. This time, Ryan Franklin makes some great pitches with a runner at second base to close it out.
And plenty more on relief pitching as we get a view from the booth. It's back upstairs for Dan and Al. Guys?
Okay, thanks, Brent. When you take a look at this game, Kyle McClellan, very good. He comes in, gets a couple of outs, and then the Cardinals turn it over to Ron Vallone. It did get a little interesting at the end, but, hey, 1 run was in, had a 2-run cushion. Cardinals win it 4-3.
But, it all starts with that starting pitcher. You go 7 innings, everything falls into place. Ron Vallone came in to get the one left-hander, Gonzalez. He strikes him out. Then you turn it over to Franklin. After back-to-back doubles, they made it a 1-run game, but then he makes some good pitches, and he relies on his defense, and they put the game away.
And it all began with the starter, Kyle Loesch. Loesch had a 30-pitch first inning, but then after that first inning, really settled in. And lo and behold, here he is, 10 games above 500. He's 12-2.
Well, that's outstanding. The ball club is 11 games over 500. As you say, he's 10 himself, and really pitching extremely well and deserves that 12-2 record.
All right, Brent, let's send it back to you.
Guys, thanks a lot. And we head right downstairs. Tony La Russa's live post-game comments.
I mean, you're the one that started it. You started it. Against him or for him? No, I mean, soon as they got one, you're thinking, man, this guy on the mound against us can beat us 1-0. So we tried to get another one, and I mean, he doesn't make many mistakes, and it was just one of those nights that whenever he got a ball in the hitting zone.
You're trusting I didn't do anything for this, right?
I'll do your radio show on Sunday morning. So the game was that he got some pitches in the zone, and you pop them up, hit them at somebody, and hit home runs.
How impressed were you with the way Franklin got it back and you
Well, you know, it's such a tough league. You know, first series got a 2-run lead, throws a sinker, ball down the line. You know, if the ball's at somebody, it's out. I mean, it's just, and then he got to 3-2. You know, I think he just missed on 2-2, got to 3-2, and he gets a double. But he's already proven to his second year with us. I mean, this guy's got great guts, and that was a clutch recovery. The other thing I'm thinking always, I mean, I'm not a researcher of the box scores, but one thing I look at is all the close games when the bullpens are used late. And you check out every day what closers go through. This is, if you got 10 chances, 5 of them end up with really difficult third out. So, but he didn't show anything he hadn't shown before. Well, I just think I think the guy, the first baseman, is a hell of a threat, and it was a good time to go to him. And if he missed him, then Franklin was going to come in. Yeah, here's the point of it. You know, this keeps Frank McClellan available for tomorrow too. But
how significant is Albert's playing third and you want to call a step off the line and he gets 2 outs, so that ball gets 5.
yeah, well, they had to pick off on. You know, they had to pick off on. So, you know, he could have gone over and hit the ball in the hole. I mean, it's just baseball. But the way he responded, I mean, he's got such great instincts. That's the fun part for me. He just saw it, and right away he knew what was happening, made the adjustment.
Here's some of Losh's nights from what you saw.
I thought early on he was having a little trouble locating. And then to his credit, which is a good thing that winning pitchers do, he got better and better. And as he got deeper, I mean, he really started making some great pitches. Well, we got a real good situation in middle infield. And we got 4 guys who are playing well. And, I mean, that's a hellacious play. So even that last one, man on third base, from my vantage point, the ball came up on him a little bit. I mean, I've seen that ball juggled and kicked. So he's a nice player.
By the way, Troy's been hit play all second and now.
I mean, he's just not piling up stats. He's piling up clutch at bats. He's getting hits when we really need him. So, I mean, he's having really an outstanding year, especially when you consider that first few weeks, you know, where he struggled. I mean, he's really been good.
How does he get involved in the ninth inning? I mean, I've seen him up throwing, then he didn't.
Well, you watch Franklin, and you know, if it looked like he didn't have good stuff, and the inning was getting away from him, you don't get a guy to third. Is he going to strike him out? You're just going to watch and see. That's the luxury of having some depth down there. Yeah.
And highlights of this one, pick it up home half of the second, and that right there is a hanging slider. Crushed by Troy Gloss, solo jack is 16, ties the game 1 apiece. Top of the third now, Edgar Gonzalez leads off for the Padres. Takes Kyle Loesch, deep left solo home run, and gives the Padres a 2-1 lead. To the fourth now, as Kyle Loesch up in the zone early. 2 outs, nobody on. Jake Peavy had a couple of hits in this game, grounds it up the middle. Aaron Miles robs it of a base hit. That's as good of a play as you're going to see going up the middle. What a play by Miles. He also had 1 hit at the plate. In the fourth, Rick Ankiel cranks it to right center. It's out. Ankiel's 21st of the year, ties the game 2 apiece. And the next batter is Gloss, and for the 27th time in his career, 2nd time this year, a multi-home run game, and back-to-back home runs for the Cardinals right there. It's 3-2, number 17 for Gloss. Joe Mather off the bench as a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 7th. That's why they call him Joey Bonds. It's gone, 4-2 Cards. Turns out to be a big run because late, the Padres making a push here. Runner at second, Chase Headley, goes the other way to left center. Drives in Kevin Kuzminoff, makes it a one-run ball game. The Padres trying to steal one here on the road. Tying run now at third with 2 outs. Luis Rodriguez a long at bat here, and Ryan Franklin wins the battle. Grounds out 4-3. And St. Louis wins by that score, 4-3 to start the post-All-Star portion of the schedule. 4 runs, 9 hits for the Redbirds. Kyle Loesch now 12-2. He goes 7 strong. 2 runs, 7 hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Multi-hit games for Rick Ankiel and Troy Gloss. And we mentioned Gloss with 2 home runs. Suddenly you look at his numbers, 17 home runs, Rick, 61 RBIs, career against Jake Peavy, 7 of 15, 4 home runs. That's saying something against a guy of that caliber.
Well, what's amazing about Troy Gloss to me is how he's been able to get out of slumps, and he's had a couple of them. Tony mentioned in his post-game comments that he had a slump the first couple of weeks of the season, but, you know, it wasn't that long ago where Troy Gloss was struggling, maybe just 3 weeks ago. But today, no struggling today. You don't see Jake Peavy hang one like that very often. That was up in the eyes of Troy Gloss. But when a hitter's hot, Brent, he takes advantage of it, and that's what Gloss does early for the first home run that he's going to have today. But he hits another one. This pitch, not quite so bad. This is another slider, and he hits this one to left field. And Gloss, with the 2 home runs, has totally broken out of his slump. There's the second one. That's a fastball middle in, and he hits that one basically to the same spot in the back of the bullpen. But Gloss's offense has absolutely gone on fire lately. Look, 0 for 22 from July 3rd through the 9th, 8 strikeouts during that time. So it wasn't just the slump early on, but look what he's done since July 10th. Not only is he 13 for 21, 6 RBIs, but he's got 4 big flies. He's also playing a very good third base, couple of doubles to go along with that. So he's shown us that he's a very streaky hitter. And you know what? We'll take streaks like that. You know, we've been looking for somebody to hit behind Albert. Maybe we got a guy to hit behind Albert.
Were we all way too worried early on when Gloss was struggling and then had the eye issue and was really having trouble cutting down that swing, a lot of pop-ups to the right side?
That's a great question. I'm not so sure he wasn't a little bit worried early on, too, because a lot of his fly balls were ended up at the warning track. And as St. Louis, as it always does, starts heating up in July, his home run total has started heating up, and that ball's carrying a little bit more. The home runs today, I think, were indicative of the way that the ball is carrying in this ballpark. And I don't think just that. I think he's really gotten his groove swing back.
And no doubt about that, Ricky Ankiel as well. Each of them with a multi-hit game and a multi-home run game for Gloss. Plenty more to come. U.S. Cellular, Cardinals Live. We're just getting going. Kyle Loesch, we're going to break it down and hear from him coming up.